And so welcome back to Mick and Mick for another episode today. We've got another NBA preview with two journalists from Pick and Roll. We got Carl Standfield back in the hot seat,
Boys, how are we?
and we've also got Liam Ellison here as a guest this afternoon.
Hey guys, how are we?
All right, so let's discuss the first deal that's been probably dominating the NBA horizon this week. Steph Curry's 5-year, $201 million super max deal. Let's discuss this deal quickly, boys. What do you reckon?
Yeah, the biggest deal in NBA history in terms of money, which is huge. It passes Mike Conley's contract that he signed last year.
5 years, 153.
Yeah,
That's a jump.
yeah.
Like,
It makes that contract look small now, doesn't it?
that was huge last year.
Yeah, but I mean, totally worth it. You know, two-time MVP, obviously unanimous MVP a couple of seasons ago. Yeah, totally worth it.
Yeah, look, it's probably what he deserved. As Kyle said, he's been an absolute star. It's a bit of a pay rise from his last one. What was it?
4 years, 44, 11 mil a year.
Yeah, the ankle injury helped Golden State there.
Yeah,
but,
didn't it?
you wonder how they're going to hold on to everyone, but yet they've signed Livingston, they've signed Iguodala. So
Yeah, Iggy got. I thought he'd stay for less than 16 a year. It was interesting he used the leverage at Houston. They obviously offered a good deal, and then Livingston got 8 as well. So I was sort of having a look at their cap numbers today, projected with everyone. They hold on to everyone. They'd be at close to 139 coming up this season, which would give them luxury of 42 and total of 180, which will go well past Cleveland and maybe even Denver next year, which we'll get to with Kyle's boys. Then 150 the next year, 175 the year after is when it really sort of hits, because I think they'll be up for an extension with Clay or Draymond at that point. And I reckon that's when one of them will have to go, but they're just going to balloon that salary capital, test it, whether the NBA really needs to consider a hard cap. I know they've just done the collective bargaining, but it was that loophole of Curry's small contracts and the massive jump in the cap that allowed them to get Durant. Now you've got 4 of the best 12 players in the NBA on one team. You know, West is getting stacked, but they're still in line to dominate. If they stick together, there's no reason they can't dominate for 5 years.
Yeah, but like you say, Iggy was meeting with other teams. He met with the Kings and a few others. That's what the other teams need to do. They need to make it hard for the Warriors to keep this core together. You know, Iggy meeting with other teams, it forced obviously the Warriors to up their offer to what they were initially offering, and I think that's the way that you kind of have to go at the Warriors. If you're the 29 other teams in the league, you can't let them. Yeah, you can't let them just get everything the way that they want. You know, you sort of need to make things hard. So it was good that Iggy listened to other offers to make the Warriors up their offer and make it just that little bit harder for them. You know, going forward.
Now does KD take the max, or does he take a 1-and-1 like LeBron's got, so that he can get, I think next year gives him 10 years and he's eligible for the Supermax then, the same contract Curry signed. So although it's not his initial team, so he can't get the same deal, can he? Because it has to be the same team for that. But yeah, that's going to be a massive contract for him as well.
Just moving on. Blake Griffin obviously had a lot of significant offers, was listening to Phoenix and Boston were in the frame as well, but he's elected to stay on for the LA Clippers for 173 mil over 5 years. And again, you know, it's like one of those interesting deals where you got him becoming the main man after Chris Paul's gone to Houston, obviously. So what do you guys reckon of the deal?
yeah, look, that's huge for the Clippers. It looked like they might be headed for a rebuild with CP3 heading off. So, I mean, they weren't too keen on giving him that full 5-year max, I don't think, because of his injury history. But he sort of used that leverage of thinking about Denver, Kyle's boys, and who was it? Houston might have been the other one.
Yeah.
Or Sacramento. Anyway, and yeah, he sort of used that leverage to get the max, and that's huge for them.
I think they fucked it. I straight up reckon they've just absolutely just ruined it.
You reckon? Why?
Should have blown it up. Once Paul left, I know they've got to stay relevant. You know, it's LA. They'll just be nobody if everyone left. And you saw they tried to move Jordan during the draft. They were trying to get a top 10 pick. And I wonder if they could have moved him, if they would have considered going full rebuild. But you're paying Blake max money. When's he played more than 70 games? You know, punches out his trainer and misses 30 games with a broken hand. I just thought it was a bad move, paying him the max.
Yeah, see, this is the thing though. Like, the Clippers have been so bad for so long. Like, before the Kings were the butt of the joke, butt of every joke in the NBA. Like the Clippers have been that for the Clippers have been that for 2-3 decades, and then all of a sudden they get this relevance. Like it's taken them like 20-30 years to form this like a core that was worthy of multiple playoff runs.
But what are you trying to achieve with? Say maybe they sign Gallo if they can pull off a trade for him. Got Blake and they've got DeAndre. They'll probably start Lou Williams and Austin Rivers. In the once we run through the rest of the West, I don't even know if that's a playoff team.
Or not. Yeah, it's
so
definitely.
You're going to sit from maybe 6th to 10th. You're not in a good draft spot. You can't rebuild. I know it's hard. They could have ended up like Brooklyn where they just had nothing to build around because a lot of older players. But yeah, just that I'm not sold on that. Just being a mediocre run of the mill side.
Yeah, I mean being like in no man's land, kind of like you can't sort of rebuild for the future. But I don't know. I just think that Blake Griffin, the Clippers have never had anybody of his caliber. So just to let him walk, I don't know. I can understand why they did it.
Yeah.
And I suppose a couple more deals that went over the 100 million mark as well. Drew Holiday of New Orleans, building around Boogie and Anthony Davis, received a 5-year, $126 million offer. And Kyle Lowry as well got a $100 million offer for 3 years, which almost mirrors Stephen Curry's deal in terms of a per year basis. It's only about $5 million or so away from Steph Curry's earnings per year. What do you reckon of the other two earned over 100 mil here?
Yeah, Drew Holiday, that's a lot of money. I think that's probably a bit too much for him, but he was in a position of power. Like, if they didn't re-sign him, I mean, who the Pelicans got, so he was really in a position of power. And to put it in perspective, so Jeff Teague signs a 3-year deal with the Timberwolves. I think, so...
57?
Yeah, so 57. Last year, just looking at the stats, so Jeff Teague, 15.3 points, 7.8 assists, 4 boards on 44% shooting. Drew Holiday, 15.4 points, 7.3 assists, 3.9 boards, 45% shooting. So they're damn near identical statistics.
And Teague would have played more games than Holiday as
Teague would have played more games, and yet you look at the discrepancy in the contracts. 3 years, 57 for Teague, and Drew Holiday gets 126 over 5. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
It's a massive discrepancy, obviously, but sometimes if you want to keep a team together, you just got to pay money, I guess. And New Orleans trying to build a little bit after getting DeMarcus Cousins over the course of last season. Obviously, can they are they able to become a playoff team in the West, given how stacked it's becoming?
You've got to wonder whether that DeMarcus Cousins trade was the right move. Like, do they fit together? Does it work? Their ceiling could be a number 7 seed, number 6 seed, and that's a ceiling. So they paid a lot of money, and I don't know. I'm not convinced.
They're one of those teams that got screwed over by last year's off-season. Like, what did they pay Solomon Hill? 4 years, 72 or something last season.
Something like that.
Big money to him, and I reckon there's another guy as well that's on similar sort of 17, 18 million. Ruined all their cap space. I mean, if Holiday left, they couldn't afford to sign George Hill or Teague or someone else, a decent point guard. So they would have been stuck in bargain basement, and it's capped them out too. They're going to be into the salary cap. Paying. I don't think they'll quite hit the luxury, but they won't be far off. And like you said, Lane, probably not in the top 4 anyway. So it's gonna be a tough one for them to try. They've got to find a way to keep AD.
Yeah, it's ironic that they're the Pelicans and they have no wins.
That's terrible, mate. That is cringeworthy.
Yeah, and I saw a tweet earlier today that said, it could be really feasible that it could take 50 wins next year to become a top 8 playoff team as well in the West, which is ridiculous. And
about 34 in the East.
Yeah, around the mark. But
East can be shaky.
just moving to the East for a second, Kyle, you've been looking forward to talking about this all day. Paul Millsap to Denver.
Yes. Yeah, Paul Millsap comes across on the Eastern Conference, another guy that's exited the East. It's going to be great. Look, Paul Millsap is a terrific fit in Denver, and he comes in on a 3-year deal, the 3rd year being a team option, which it's the perfect.
Rare these days.
It's a perfect deal for Denver, really. It doesn't tie us down long term, but we get that immediate impact and that defense that we desperately need. Denver last season was just horrific defensively. And Jokic, while he does some incredible things offensively, defensively, he just isn't quite there yet. And nor is anybody else on the roster really. So Millsap comes in there, he's going to fill a need immediately. He's a guy that a lot of our young guys are going to learn from. You know, he's a consummate professional. I'm excited. Go check my Twitter timeline. I got a little bit carried away, you know, on Twitter today. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's gonna
project a starting five for me. Gallo, obviously, you think goes.
Yeah,
You're
so
gonna have to
Gallo,
trade a few blokes.
Gallo's probably going to be gone. I think he's most likely going to go to the Clippers. So you probably start. It'll be.
Still a problem at point.
Yeah, the point's a little bit murky at the moment, but I'd say Jamal Murray starts. You have Gary Harris at the 2, Wilson Chandler, and then Millsap and Jokic there.
Still too young to be a really good side next year.
I think that team pushes to playoffs. I think it'll be a lower seed. Anyway, I think probably 6 to 8 seed would be reasonable for that squad.
It's going to be competitive, that 6 to 8 in the West.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and what was your take on the trade, Liam?
The Millsap one, yeah, that's good for those guys. I mean, you knew he was going to leave Atlanta, really. He had to go. Dwight Howard's gone. They're rebuilding completely, and they're going to be very versatile with their bigs. Jokic and Millsap, they can do a lot of different things.
Exciting. ATL blowing it up.
Yeah.
Corver, what do they show? Like 3 of their 4 All-Stars are now in the West. So T, now Mini. He was part of their team. Corver's at Cavs. Millsap there.
Al Horford's gone.
And Al Horford's at Boston. So 2 and 2, but yeah, that was a 60-win team.
It's just kind of easy. I mean, they had like 4 All-Stars last, like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, that's 30 mil in space that they had for. They've got actual cap space, so they could go any which way now. I don't know how they go about. There's going to be that many teams in the East that could potentially rebuild. Someone's going to luck into a playoff spot out there.
Yeah, be careful. They won't get any draft picks otherwise.
There's going to be a bad team in the East that will finish 8th.
There'll be a team in the East that is 10 games under 500 and they'll make it.
Yeah, comfortably. But then you've got the teams that are bringing you back. Like, we didn't really touch on Kyle Lowry at Toronto, but they've paid Ibaka money, Lowry money. DeRozan's on a big deal. They lost PJ Tucker. Not sure. I think Patrick Patterson might be a free agent as well, but it wasn't close to good enough to getting it done last year, and they're just going to bring the same back again. I suppose you just have to hope, if something happens to the Cavs or if LeBron does leave at the end of next year, it's going to be wide open, and once you win a conference, you're still a chance, aren't you? So,
absolutely.
And one of those teams, obviously, that missed out on the playoffs in the East last year was Philadelphia, and they've added JJ Redick to their squad. What's the impact of this trade to Philadelphia as a whole? I mean, obviously they've got a really exciting squad, but what do you reckon Redick will add to this lineup come NBA season time?
Shooting is what he adds, and but they were desperate for a shooter, and they've got him perfect fit, I think.
Yeah, it's great that they've got the veteran as well. They've obviously so young. They've been so young. They got rid of I think Gerald Henderson during the week, waived him, so they've got a real elite locker room presence.
Signed Amir Johnson to come off the bench, but I love that for starting 5. Yeah, Fultz playing next to JJ. Robert Covington started at the 3. Still work on his 3-point shooting a little bit, but his defense was top notch. NBA last year. I think Simmons plays the 4, but might guard a different spot. Covington hopefully will guard some 4s for them next to Embiid. That could be a real, obviously health permitting, and a couple of, you're playing 2 rookies and a guy who's played 20 games, so you never know how well they're going to gel straight up, but it could be a really good team.
It'll be fun at the very least, I think.
Very least. That crowd.
Oh, bonkers.
Trust the process. They're already around it. Joel Embiid must be the funnest bloke in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, his Twitter's hilarious.
Yeah. Actually, that's funny. Do you think that factors in when these guys want to go play for Philly?
Good locker room.
Yeah. It'll be a fun locker room.
I don't know if he's Twitter funny or if he's real life. What he's like, in the locker room. But why wouldn't you want to play with Fultz, Embiid, Simmons? That could be, the 3 best players of the last 3 drafts. You'd be excited to get around that. 1-year deal though for JJ. What? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I suppose Philadelphia just want to keep their options open, perhaps moving forward. I'm not really sure.
There. I know Embiid will be obviously due for a big raise, but they don't have anything else. Fair bit of space. Might have someone in mind for next season, or just want to see how the fit works. It was good to get him on a 1-year deal if you can. It's obviously better for the teams. Can be if they don't walk, but short-term flexibility.
Do you reckon they'll be that team who gets in with 10 games under 500?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, they were really good last year when MB was healthy.
Yeah.
They were surging up the standings before he went down. So
I'm bullish on
better,
them.
maybe.
I actually think they could be push the top 4 next year.
what?
Things
Really?
go right. They were with Embiid on the court, and Simmons didn't play. They didn't have Fultz, and they didn't have Redick. And they were a borderline playoff team last year in the East when Embiid played, and he was on a 25-minute restriction.
That's true.
You had Amir Johnson coming off the bench. I still think they'll add a little bit more bench there. Dario Saric can now go to the bench. The bloke they brought over from Europe, Furkan Korkmaz, I think it is. Good raps on him. Be another handy player. I don't think there's enough good team. Milwaukee will probably jump in the East, but I think it'll be someone like Detroit or Charlotte or something like that, who's an average team.
We've got your
Slide into the playoffs.
you got your top 4 pretty much sorted.
Cavs,
Cavs, Boston, Washington.
Toronto, Milwaukee.
Toronto,
Probably
Milwaukee,
your first
top
5
5.
that you think,
Yeah.
but whether I think Philly can push into like the lower ends of that. Obviously, Indiana played playoffs. They won't. I wouldn't expect them to be there.
Atlanta as well.
Atlanta played playoffs. Won't be there.
Yeah.
And Chicago were on the fringe of playoffs, and Butler goes. So
Butler goes, Rondo goes, yeah.
6, 7, 8 or something like that. Oh, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, it was exactly what I was going to raise, MJ, because like I absolutely agree. I think Philadelphia can challenge for top 5 or so. Like if they get a bit of luck with one of the teams dropping out, they could even be a contender for top 4 in the East. So it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out, I guess. I mean, obviously, we didn't really get a great East last year with Cleveland dominating pretty much. Boston and Washington put on a great series, but that was really about it, really. But
Thoughts on the Cavs? Corver, 3 years, 22, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, I guess.
3 years. What is he? Is he 36, 37?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just lukewarm on that one. Like he didn't have a great final series, and I mean that's not going to put them over the top of the Warriors or anything like that. But
I was interested with that they're looking to trade Shumpert,
yeah,
and even for cap relief, gone and signed Corver. Just defensively is an issue for them, and Shumpert's one of their better defenders. Corver not being a horrific defender, but struggled to guard someone on the Warriors last year. I'm not shocked that they brought him back, Calder and Signs as a backup point guard, but obviously looks like they're just going to run it back again. Same team, hope for a better result.
hope for the Steph Curry slip or something like that and capitalise, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, likely to win the East, but you wonder with Griffin not there as GM and the uncertainty about LeBron going forward, a lot of talk about him potentially wandering to the West. Are they just a bit nervous about how long they sort of sign people for and how hard they go?
Look, it came out today that Melo said he might waive his trade clause for Cleveland, so that'd be
For
interesting.
Cleveland? Did he say for
For
Cleveland?
Cleveland,
For Cleveland,
Houston, two
Houston.
teams.
and Houston, yeah.
Cleveland or Houston said to go and play with either Chris Paul or LeBron. That was my thing with the Clips. I honestly thought the Clips would be banana boat next year. I thought Blake would walk, Chris Paul would sign, and then end of next season you've got Melo coming out, LeBron coming out, D Wade coming out. I thought they'd all go to the Clips, but there's not really a team that can pull it off now. You know, I noticed today a lot of people were talking about the fact that there's not going to be many teams with space next season because the salary cap hasn't jumped again like people thought it would. It was 107 it was projected 2 years ago, but now it's back into 99 after the short playoff series, and teams just might not have money. There's a heap of teams ballooning over the cap all of a sudden. It might not be a great time to come out next year, or just more players re-signing with the same team.
Yeah, and finally, probably the last deal we'll go through before we move on to some of the Australian deals.
Jody Meeks to the Wiz.
Yeah, I don't mind that. It means that Bogdanovic will probably leave. Obviously, a couple more developments. Otto Porter met with the Kings today, and I understand they've offered a max deal for him. I think the Wizards might match that. Not sure yet. We'll
Come
have
on,
to
don't
see.
sit on the fence, Mick.
We'll
Make
have-
a call.
I think we will.
You reckon they'll match?
Just try to maintain the same starting 5 from last season, pretty much, and with a couple of signings that we've added in, hopefully we can beat Boston this time round.
Still young players to develop there.
Yeah.
Wall and Beal should get better. Interesting, Beal he got that max extension offer and hasn't signed that one.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, obviously the relationship between Bill and Wall has been just, bubbling for a few seasons. Like, I think this season it was probably at its best, but there's still a bit of tension there. So we'll have to see what happens, I guess. But
I think the Wiz would be better to let him walk. Hope. Who's the lefty off the bench? Who's same sort of high draft pick as well? Who plays well? Got suspended in last year's playoffs.
Oubre.
Yeah.
Kelly Oubre.
Sorry, mental blank there, but let him develop or let him start, and then keep some money spare for next season and go after DeMarcus. You've got Wall and Boogie as the Kentucky link. That sort of talk they want to play together again. I think you've got to try and chase a third star there rather than hoping that Wall, Beal, and him will be enough. I'm not sure that it is.
Yeah.
So it's a big call to make.
But the one deal I was going to go over before MJ decided to talk about...
you want to talk about your Wizards.
No, I wanted to talk about Taj Gibson to Soda. Obviously, they're one of the teams that are probably going to be trying to get into the West as well. But Gibson reuniting under Tom Thibodeau as well. So
2 years, 28?
Yeah, that's it.
14 mil. We thought that was enough. But Mini-Man Liam, we'll let you...
Yeah, Tibbs loves his Bulls guys, doesn't he? I'm just glad as a Minnesota fan.
Not Derrick Rose yet.
Yeah, exactly. that Rubio to Rose trade last year.
Oh.
No, thank you. But I don't mind it. I mean, he plays defense, and that's what Minnesota needs. So, yeah, that's huge for them.
Does he start or does he come off the bench?
I don't know. It's interesting.
Start at the 4 and move Cat over to the 5.
Gut reaction says he comes off the bench, but he might be a better player than Gorgie. It's really hard to tell at this stage.
Oh, because Gorgie starting to develop. I don't mind him, but obviously his lack of shooting. But I guess Taj isn't offering you that either. I thought 14 mil might be a lot to pay for a bloke who comes off the bench.
Jeng's a decent mid-range shooter.
Not bad. Not bad. Good defensively. But that's where I wanted them to chase Gallo and spread the floor, put him at the 4 or someone like that. And move Cat to the 5. I just thought he would have been such a good fit there. And not everyone, listen, it's been amazing. We haven't really talked about the idea that players have left and gone to small markets. Finally, like Mini have pulled players. Denver have got a bit signing. The Clips in New York aren't, sort of struggling as a free agent destination.
And the
Lakers have had that problem for the last few
few
years. So that's what the league has wanted, is finally to see some of that going on.
Yeah, and the glow of, the LA and New York and Chicago, it's sort of dimmed a little bit due to the fact that, you can get on your phone and just watch any team at any time. The big advantage of playing in those big market cities used to be that they're on TV all the time and that they had, the biggest markets and all that type of stuff. But
Don't you think it's livability?
I mean, yeah, that factors in definitely as well.
Weather in the West.
Yeah, and sort of off the court stuff as well. I mean, if you live in New York, you're going to get more, off court opportunities, but instead of playing in Oklahoma City or something like that. But yeah, I think
that was always with Minnesota. People would always talk about minus 20 through winter, half the year. You got to put your family there. Do people want to be there? Mello with Lala Vas, she never wanted to leave New York, and that was always the talk. So,
I think the gap between big and small market teams is closing in terms of advantage.
Yeah, Shabazz.
Yeah, they're not going to keep him.
Unrestricted free agent.
Interesting. I quite liked him as a fan, but again, he's one of those blokes who he can score a bit, but he doesn't play much defense, and that seemed to be a lot of their roster.
Pass or do anything other than score.
Yeah,
I don't mind him either. Likewise, but same issue last year. They got no bench. I know Thibs loves to play blokes 46 minutes a game. But they need 2 more. They need at least 8 to 9 guys.
Yeah. And then Tyus Jones hopefully will take the step up and become that backup, but maybe they'll have to sign another point guard. I'm not sure. But yeah, you're right. They really need to extend that bench.
Yeah. Project that. You reckon how good can Mini be next year?
I don't think we're a certainty for playoffs. I think we should.
Oh wow!
I think we should, but you can never be sure. I mean, last year everyone was really high on us, and I think that was.
I might have gone a little bit early on that.
I mean, a lot of people were predicting 50 wins out of the Wolves last year.
Yeah, I heard some guy on Sport Illustrated say Cat was going to win MVP, and look, I think he should have been an All-Star, but
yeah, gently.
Yeah.
So Teague, I think it's probably not. I don't know if I'd call it a net gain on Rubio. I love Ricky. The shooting, yes, will be better, but it's not like he's a 50% shooter or some amazing 3-ball shooter. Defense loses a bit there. Ricky's one of the better defensive point guards in the league. Jimmy Butler obviously starts at the whether you start Butler or Wiggins, you know, they can sort of switch roles on the wing. I think it'll help Wiggins a lot, not necessarily having to guard the best bloke. It could free him up. His defense last year was as bad as anyone in the league. So having Butler there to guard the best wing helps him a lot.
I think it'll help. Sorry, buddy. I think it'll help Wiggins if he can just play on the 2, because he really dominates when he's playing against smaller defenders.
Sure
He had that 47-point game against the Lakers when he was Levine was out, and they moved Ellison to the 3, and Wiggins was just all over. Who was it? Nick Young and Jordan Clarkson. They just couldn't reach him. So.
Against who did you say? No, I don't know. 47's 47. Hey,
Yeah.
What did Devin Booker scored 70? So
Yeah.
You score those big games, and Wiggins is capable of it. I'd love to see him round his game out. Hopefully, Butler going against Butler in practice and things like that really helps him develop. I think that's a great starting 5. Like if we just do what we did with the East quickly, you know, obviously Golden State, Houston up the top with the Spurs, maybe sort of all 3 up there. You predict, but after that, Utah we don't know yet whether Hayward's coming back, so you can't project where they're going to be.
Clips will probably drop.
Clips will fall right away. Yep. I think Memphis. Who knows?
I've been predicting Memphis to drop for like 3 years now. They just don't.
don't.
So I'm not predicting them to drop this year.
Parsons doesn't find the court.
Yeah.
Zebo might go. Vince Carter's taking a meeting with Sacramento. They're not going to be a top 4 or 5 team.
No.
Oklahoma will be better with Paul George. Obviously, so you'd think they push up there.
And then you got Portland as well, who are in the 8th seed. So
I reckon Portland will be better next year with a full year.
With Nurkic.
Yeah, using Nurkic,
they're going to be better.
Well, I think there's no reason Denver and Mini can't sort of try to challenge Portland, OKC.
Oh yeah,
5, 6, 7,
in terms of just skilled players, those 2 teams are now with those other ones.
Real nicely.
Yeah.
Real nice.
Northwest Division is going to be crazy.
Yeah,
Absolutely crazy.
Get on to the Aussies.
Yeah, of course. Paddy Mills took up a 4-year, $50 million deal. Probably going to start next season with, I think Parker's out for a little while, isn't he?
Yeah, they're going to miss the first 2 months at the moment.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Obviously, he had some pretty good performances last season with the Spurs. What did you reckon of Paddy getting paid?
Yeah, love it. Love it when an Aussie gets paid.
As much as you thought?
Yeah, he probably nearly could have got more on the market. I think he actually took a little bit less to go back to San Antonio, which, you know, you definitely can't blame him for. San Antonio's amazing in terms of culture and just winning.
Yeah, Aussies haven't always been those sort of gold digger, take as much as you can possibly get. $12.5 million US is...
Oh, it's huge. And that's an important factor, I think, because once obviously a lot of these guys return to Australia post-playing career and, you know, they're making all their coin in American, bring it back over to Australia, and it's a hell of a lot more for them. So, yeah,
he'd be the highest paid Australian sportsman. You look at what blokes earn here, AFL, cricket, everything else. Dan, F1, you know, there's not many more. He'd be making, probably Joe Ingles might be the highest paid Australian.
Yeah.
Lasted 1 day to get that record.
Yeah.
Paddy Mills is
Paddy Mills record.
Yeah.
Record deal. I wouldn't be surprised if the Spurs still start Murray. I know Pop loves that scoring off the bench that Paddy provides and the energy. He did tried starting Murray a few times in the playoffs when Parker was injured. So not sure what happens there, but obviously they like him enough to keep him around. Sometimes I don't think Pop shows that trust in him, so I was really glad that they put up the money. They obviously traded Corey Joseph to Toronto previously when he was competing for Paddy for the role, but yeah, they love him, so brought him back. Good on him.
And it's interesting, so early in free agency, the Spurs were sort of targeting a George Hill return, and that obviously fell through. It'd be interesting, I know we can't possibly predict what would have happened, but had they signed George Hill, I mean, would Paddy be back in San Antonio? I mean, I know it's impossible to come up with a conclusion to that, but I mean, I don't know.
You'd think maybe not.
Maybe not, but I tried to think of starting point guard roles around the league that he could have taken. There weren't a heap of teams with a bunch of money looking for a starting point guard. You know, whether Lynn was going to remain at Brooklyn, but now they've got D'Angelo Russell. New York could probably use a starting point guard, but don't have a heap of money. Whether Delhi starts at Milwaukee next season, I think probably not. Brogdon had such a great year, but there just aren't a heap of teams looking for that spot. I mean, that's what we said about New Orleans. How were they going to replace Holiday if he left? So I think it's a good result all around for Paddy.
Yeah, and just as we mentioned before, Joe Ingles with the $52 million deal. Fantastic story, isn't he? Like, I was reminiscing about his South Dragons days just last night. Like, I was watching a few videos here and there, and, you know, he had that 11 assist playoff game last year against the Clippers, which, you know, just capped off a pretty good playoffs for himself. What do you reckon? Like, just fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great story. You know, just a couple of years ago, he was running around in the EuroLeague, which I mean is no small feat. You know, he was playing some great basketball over there, but comes across, the Clippers give him a chance and then cut him before the Jazz pick him up, and then he goes ahead and beats the Clippers in a playoff series with the Jazz and then gets paid. I mean, it's a perfect.
And also, they went after him, I think. He had a meeting with the Clippers and turned him down. So.
Yeah. I don't think they would have had that much money to offer him, but interesting he took the meeting anyway and signed pretty quickly. I'd love to know the history of the NBA if a bloke's been a rookie over the age of 25 and made 50 mil. He might be the first.
He'd have to be the first one, wouldn't he?
First guy ever, yeah. Career total wise, I mean, there might be someone total career, but in one deal, obviously, he'd be the first guy. And his rookie year with the Jazz was good, but he really improved this year. It's funny, you know, Quinn Snyder sort of served it to him, said, you know, you've either got to become a great wing defender for us, or become confident with your 3-point shot.
And
well, there's not really a place for you. And he's done both and became the ultimate 3-and-D guy. You know, he was guarding Chris Paul at times through the playoff series with the Clips. Then he'd take wing guys, had Durant plenty of times, you know, really versatile even despite being slow, and obviously I think was 4th in the league in 3-point percentage. So he was a really, really big signing for anyone in the off-season and meant to be best mates with Hayward. So
sky's the limit for him at the moment, isn't it? Like, it's just crazy to think where he's just gone, you know, since he's
NBL,
yeah, like, you know, as I said, I've watched him with the South Dragons last night, and, you know, he just had some amazing highlight plays that just said, you know, he's just far too good for that league, and now he's been able to really show what he's capable of, which is just fantastic.
Secondary playmaking chops at the Jazz were big this year, especially with George Hill missing a bunch of games. Hayward's obviously can create, but Joe Ingles creating off the dribble. We saw, as you said, that 11 assist game. He's got a lot of strings to the boat. I love watching him play. You know, he makes fun passes, loves to give it up, gets teammates involved. Obviously they're in a bit of strife if Hayward leaves, but I like Rubio next to Ingles, but I mean, there's two reluctant shooters. So Gobert's going to have to keep enhancing his offensive game. Whether Favors hangs around, if he's on the trade block.
Ronnie Hood's good offense for them.
Yeah, Hood and Burks were meant to be the two guys at the 2, and they just haven't quite come along. I don't know if either of them start over Ingles. Maybe Ingles slides to the 3 and Hood starts at the 2 if Hayward goes, but meant to be best mates, Hayward and Ingles, and share an agent, and everyone in Utah's pretty hopeful and even confident. I was seeing today that this was a sign he might re-sign. Got a meeting with them tomorrow after he did Boston today, so there's probably one worth jumping back and predicting. Do you, Boston, Miami, Utah?
I'll say Boston, but I mean,
Butler connection.
Yeah, I'm not really basing it off anything, to be honest. Just a gut feeling. I'll say Boston.
I thought it was interesting that the photo came out of them at the airport having a nice photo together, Brad Stevens and Gordon Hayward, and I just thought, if you're planning on staying at Utah, it just seems a bit strange. My gut feel is Boston.
You reckon Boston as well? Yeah, they had that day at Fenway today, showing around with Isaiah and a few boys.
Surely Boston have to make a signing before the end of free agency. Obviously, they've been touted as the big names, and you know they missed out on so many names. It's like they've got to make one eventually. Surely.
I'd love it if he. Well, I want him to stay anyway because I've loved watching Utah develop, and I want them to be a good side. You know, they've 4 years running, they've improved. He was an all-star last year. You know, there's no reason he can't get better. His scoring average, I think, has improved something like 5 years straight, and I just think that's a great core there. But too dangerous. You know, Miami's always been a nice place to live and good money, and he'd get to be the guy in Miami. I think they'd still be a good team. They'd be playoff side with Dragic, Hayward, and Whiteside.
Yeah, I think so.
And he'd be the guy. Whereas if he goes to Boston, he's second behind Isaiah, and you've got Horford there. I mean, nice nucleus, and there'd be a chance to win the East with him, but I'd love to see Boston miss out on everyone.
I mean, it's interesting with all these guys going west, like PG, Butler. Do you think that weighs on his mind, saying, "Well, damn, look at this Western Conference. It's going to be a hell of a lot easier if I go east and join Miami or join the Celtics."
I always wonder about like what levels of importance each thing is. So, how much do you like the city? How much, if the money's going to be the same in all cities, like all places, how much is it team success? How much is it your role in the offense and how much ball you're going to see? What do you weigh up? Maybe it's different for different guys.
Oh, yeah, different players would, want different things out of their situations. But yeah, I don't know. Haywood, does he want to be that guy? No idea.
Potentially be an all-star starter in the East.
Yeah, he would be. He'd probably almost be guaranteed a spot in the East.
With George and Butler gone.
Yeah.
All-star first teams. The all NBA teams are still going to be tough to crack. It obviously hasn't affected it much because Millsap was happy to go west. Butler didn't have a say in his trade, and neither did PG. But PG was planning to go west to go home. So it's not been an issue or a factor for the other guys.
Do you reckon Paul George will stay at the end of this year?
Zero chance.
Zero chance.
It could be a top 4 seed, win 2 playoff series, and he wouldn't stay.
I wouldn't say it's a 0% chance. But I wouldn't give them a great chance.
No, it'd be very low.
Yeah.
But I still think the Lakers are probably favourite to land him for a longer period of time. But he'll probably give everything to OKC, and then he'll reassess his options, I suppose. But I still think he's probably a 96-97% chance of going to the Lakers at this rate.
It's worth a crack for OKC. I mean, they've got to try and do something
Absolutely.
to keep Westbrook around, yeah.
And I mean, really, they didn't give up a hell of a lot, and actually, they did themselves a favour by getting rid of that Oladipo contract.
Ibaka into Paul George.
Yeah, which is great, and that Oladipo contract was $21 million for the next 3 seasons each. So I mean, to get that off the books was a big win for them, I think. So yeah, I mean, if you're OKC, worth the gamble, and I know maybe he does enjoy playing with Russell Westbrook or whatever. And yeah, with I know, as I say that, it is quite laughable, but because obviously KD, but I mean, who knows?
KD, anyone? Yeah. No, all credit to him. Had one of the great seasons the NBA's seen statistically and individually. But I just don't understand how you could enjoy playing with what was the usage rate? Up near 40%.
Yeah, it was huge.
All-time biggest usage rate. Some of the shots he took in the playoffs, like the fourth quarter shooting, taking 18 shots a game. Maybe he'll give it up.
Maybe I was going to say maybe he turns it down a little bit. Yeah. Maybe he says to himself, "I don't want PG to leave like KD did, and I might pass him the ball a little bit more."
You can't teach old dog. You are who you are. That's who he is. He wants to be the best player in the league, and he got the MVP. He might not know he's not going to win it next year, but I think he'd have a pretty good idea that he's not going to win the league next year. Maybe he goes for another MVP. But Paul George, I just think he's heart set on the Lakers. He told Indiana that's why he's leaving. OKC's another small market team that's not going to win it, so I'd be shocked if he stayed. Aussies, Andrew Bogut.
Yeah, actually, I read an article on the pick and roll before you guys came in, and apparently there's up to 10 teams that are interested in him. You still say that a Cleveland will fit him in, and Utah and Milwaukee will be a nice fit. I think you commented on that, MJ, as well. Just if you can you explain the story today, being employees over there?
Did you write that, or
I didn't write that?
Oh, you smiled at me.
No, I think Kean wrote that. I mean, he's an option for a number of teams, and it's funny that in an era of small ball, that Bogut is still highly coveted as this traditional, back to the basket, defensive big.
Pachulia still started on the best team ever.
Yeah, that's it. There are a few teams there. The Spurs are interested. The Bucks, there could be a reunion there. I mean, it just comes down to how much is anybody going to pay him. I mean,
I don't know if he'll take the money. I think he's made, his last 2 contracts have been so good to him. I think we saw with Cleveland last time he prioritised winning probably over role, which was a bit of my comment that went to a team there he was going to come off the bench, but had a great chance to win and and play against Golden State was something I think he'd love after sort of being booted there for Durant. He'd have options to start. I mean, I could see him starting at Milwaukee. I could see him starting at Boston. He could start at Houston over Capella if they wanted to. There's plenty of teams. And the Spurs like to play two big guys, so there'd be a spot there. Dedmon was good last year, but Bogut's an upgrade there. And last year at Dallas, he was still maybe second in the league in defensive plus minus, which can be an interesting stat. It favours big guys, but that was with Deron Williams for most of the season as a defensive siege, in front of him. So to still have such a good defensive rating, I think he's still got something to add there. Obviously, if he can stay healthy, but I can't wait to see where he ends up. I think he'll still have a good role to play in the NBA next year.
If he's worried about role, I'd love to see him go to Boston. I mean, Horford doesn't want to play the 5, so if you could just chuck Bogut at 5 and he could set the big screens for little Isaiah, that would go nicely.
I think that's probably the best fit for him, to be honest, with the Celtics.
Yeah, well, I mean, they started Amir Johnson most of last year and weren't getting much out of him. That's where we saw they changed the lineup a few times in the playoffs because they didn't have a fifth guy. Gerald Green started a few games. Definitely could use another spot. And as you said, sliding Horford to the 4 would be ideal for them. Letting him guard some of the 4s and Bogut take the big guys. It seems a good match, but it's got options.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens from here on in. Obviously, free agency still going on, but it's just been really great having you guys coming to chat today. Liam, especially you coming over to our studios, I guess, coming straight from work, and Carl obviously being our resident NBA expert here at Macleay. It's been fantastic having you guys down, and
get on the pick and roll, check out their work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really well.
Yeah, thanks guys for coming in, and let's do it again sometime, eh?
Yeah, awesome.
Sounds good. Yeah.